Hey, we're back. The boys are back, dude. It's been 2 long weeks of solo bullshit, solo journal entry podcasting, just a sad man on a bench doing a diary entry. But now Jack is back, baby. It's us two, as it always should be and always will be. We will never part ways. This bond is strong as ever. Good to see you, buddy. You're looking good. I know you said you're tired, but you're looking fresh. You have a fresh face.
Thank you. Good to see you too, Jake. I missed you.
I know. I miss you too. It's been crazy, dude. We've been just too busy to talk for an hour. It's crazy that we've been too busy for that. Life on the road, dude, it eats you up. It fucking eats you up and spits you out.
It does. And the other day I got stung on my foot by a bee, so it's like kind of hard to walk around.
Yeah, dude, just kick back, use your girlfriend as a fucking futon and, put your feet up on her for a few weeks and you're good to go.
Yeah,
you deserve
we're doing it.
Yeah, human furniture is the best. Yeah, man, I'm in Minneapolis, you're back in Wyoming. I got back to Minneapolis like 3 hours ago. I am done with the van. No more road shit in the van. I am completely done with it. I made a little video on Instagram last night at like 12:01. It was like the official start of the last day in the van. And yeah, dude, it's crazy. It's I mean, sans a little time sleeping in my apartment in New York and like a week when I flew back to Portland, I've been in this van for like 4 months. So it's crazy that it's like over now. And now I'm just like a normal comic, just a normal guy in, I have nothing to stand out, The van was a thing. It was an identity. And now I'm just some guy, some broke comic again. So, yeah, but I'm very excited. This last week has, I made some geographical planning errors in terms of how much I really thought I'd be wanting to drive and then do comedy each night.
It always looks like so much less on Google Maps, doesn't it? And then you get out there, you're like, uh-oh.
Even the time, you're like 8 hours, like whatever. You do 3 hours, take a break, 3 hours, take a break, you're done out. Like it's not like, but then you drive 8 hours a day, you want to fucking kill a child. Like you are so ready. At the end of the day, you're just like seeing red, and then you do a show, and then you just like go, dude. Like last night, I drove from Denver to Omaha, which is 7.5-ish hours. Then I did 2 spots. Then I drove for another like 3 hours or 2 hours to get. Like, I didn't want to do the full 5 today. So, like, I drove fucking 10-plus hours, did some comedy, slept at a truck stop, and then drove here today, did, like, 3 hours today and finished. So, it's just, like, too much. And then you're just eating gas station food. Like, I just feel gross, dude. I just feel like a blob. Like, it's just, ugh, like, go in and you just, like, oh, God. It's like energy drink, shitty muffin. Like there's no real food there. There's no, it's like it might be attached to a Subway, and then even that, you're just like, all I think of Subway is all the videos I've seen of like the employees like stepping on the lettuce, like there's just these guys who are bored at work or like jerking off into the tomatoes.
That smell in a Subway, it's just I can't do it. It's disgusting.
Also, it's a gas station Subway. So it's like a Subway attached to a gas station. So they just look hard. They're just hardened, broken people with fucking bad tattoos, and it's a depressing thing all around. You're in the middle of nowhere, and so I am waving a positive bye-bye to the road for a while. And yeah, so I went to Reno for the first time. Have you ever been to Reno?
I have.
That's a sad, I don't know. I'd never been there before, man. I did a spot I did like a featured spot on an open mic, which was cool. I made $40 or whatever. And the comics were nice. And then I went to this other open mic that was at his dead bar. It was like a Sunday night, so it was like a couple days before Halloween, day before Halloween. And but then I just wanted to see Reno, so I walked around the casinos, and dude, just I mean, first of all, you forget that there are just a few places left in America that you can smoke inside. And I hadn't been to one. I can't remember the last place I've been where you're allowed to smoke inside. So you like right away, you're just like, oh fuck, it just smells like cigs. And I mean, anybody who's in Reno gambling at 11 p.m. on a Sunday night, like this isn't like, oh yeah, it's like a boys' weekend, It's just like these people are just sitting alone, hitting a button. Dude, the button is like rubbed raw on the machine. Like it doesn't even say hit anymore. Like there's just like the fingerprints of 1,000,001 losers have fucking rubbed the paint off the thing. So it's just a smudgy white button. And they're just taking a long fucking draw. I mean, it's just like, the fucking, the Rascal Scooter game is on point. People are just rascaling up to their favorite machine, pushing buttons for a couple hours, losing money, winning money, smoking the cigs, drinking the fucking watered down cocktails. I mean, it was just, it's like fascinating. Like, I would love to interview some of those people. Like, I wish I had like my recorder so I could just be like, will you give me 5 minutes of your time? I'll give you $5. Like, here's an extra $5 on the machine. What's your life like? Why are you here right now? What are you doing? How did you end up here? Why is this the choice you're making right now? Because it's like, it's so funny because the environment is like bright, colorful. There's tick, 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 tick. Like you would like, if you just heard the sounds and saw the colors, you're like, oh, all these people are probably really happy. And then you look at the people and it's just like, they look like they're awaiting trial. I mean, they're just like, slumped over. Dude, I just remember coming down the escalator and turning to my right, and there's just like a lady who looks like grandmother age. She's like in her like late 70s. Extra long fucking Marlboro, just weathered face, just doing the fucking tap. No, like not talking to anybody. There's no community. You're not even next to somebody. You're just in a shadow next to a staircase, smoking, getting emphysema. I mean, it was wild. And then you go outside and there's just like, the people walking outside late night at Reno are just like, where are you guys going? Like, you can tell, too, that the casinos are all connected in a way. So a lot of them are just homeless people who are staying warm. Basically what I was doing. Like, I was just cold, and I just wanted to see the casinos. But, yeah, so you're, like, outside, you're just like, damn, it's kind of sketch around here, dude. Like, there's a lot of, like, casinos that have closed down. Like, they're not all, they're empty buildings. And it's just, like, these bright lights and that, like... that like feeling you get where there's like music playing, but the environment is depressing. So it's kind of like echoing down like a long empty corridor, and it's like positive music, but it's kind of haunting because you're just like, the song doesn't match the environment. You're like, it's just so creepy. It's like a horror movie. It feels like you're in a horror movie. Like the music is just bouncing off these long like casino corridors outside, and then you like look around and there's a guy like sitting next to the Reno sign and he's homeless, or there's like people playing their own music on their little fucking speakers and they're looking like, they got kicked out of the Juggalos somehow. I mean, it's just it's just a weird environment, and it's just out in the middle of the fucking desert. And then you drive 10 minutes, and it's just black. I mean, it's just pitch fucking black. And you're just driving out into the Nevada desert, and you're just like, all right, this is it. This is the state, huh? Is desert and then these two gambling towns. That's it. It's very strange. It was a very strange trip. And the comics seemed relatively normal for how weird that town was. I thought they were all going to be kind of like... Sometimes you go to a town and you just know like what type of comics you'll see just based on like who is in the town. You're like, oh, these guys are going to be weird. But they were all like chill and nice people, which was very odd to me.
I've heard there are some
Yeah.
nicer areas in Reno, up and coming neighborhoods. It's actually like a decent place to live away from the casino stuff, but people say that about Vegas too. I've never seen it myself, but
I'm sure there are. I mean, it definitely seemed more normal than Vegas because I've been to Vegas, and that I don't know how Max lives there. I mean, Max is living there now with a fucking wife, but yeah, I don't know how people live in Vegas. But Reno, the casino area isn't so big that you couldn't escape it. But there's just that weird thing of like when people are on the edges of money, like physically, like it's like this casino building represents a fuck ton of money, and then there's just like a guy with like a please help me, I'm hungry. Like the contrast of those things is always stark, because it's not just a guy next to a freeway. It's like the bright lights and the music and the clink 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 of coins coming, and then it's just like a guy being like, I'm starving, and you're like, okay, well, creepy.
And there's Susudio playing in the background too.
Yeah, it's very strange. And then it's just like the people working there too look like they've kind of like are both ageless and have aged horribly because they've been getting secondhand smoke for 15 years as like a blackjack dealer. And when a fucking place too, like it was Sunday, so it was football Sunday, and all those casinos have big sports books, so like a lot of their money is made on fucking gambling, like betting sports. And so all the blackjack and poker dealers are wearing NFL jerseys. And it's just like that weird thing where it's like a forced, you can clearly tell it's like a forced, like, all right, everybody at the El Dorado, like here's your company issued like Dallas Cowboys jersey. And it it makes them look even more miserable in a way because it's like you're putting this weird like facade like, hey, it's NFL Sunday, we're fucking loving life. But then like they're just dead-eyed spinning the fucking roulette wheel, like no emotion in their face because they've done this motion 35 million times,
The 63-year-old blackjack dealer named Charlene doesn't care about the Buffalo Bills game.
No, she just wants a $2 an hour raise. She's not looking, she doesn't give a shit about that. But whatever. So, and who knows? Maybe I'm just projecting all this. Maybe there's some weird internal sadness, but I don't know. I feel like I got a keen eye for some of this shit, and I'm just like, yeah, this is not a place I would like to spend. And I couldn't tell. I was like thinking about it because at night there's something nice about lights and night, but I was like, man, during the day, like being in here on a sunny day, that seems even worse. Like if it's like noon and the sun's out and like you could be outside getting some fresh air, but you're just in there clicking the buttons. Like I didn't know which was even worse. Like what is worse, spending all night in there alone or like wasting a day in there when you could be out getting some fucking energy, I don't know. I don't like gambling. It's like I'd never been my thing. So I hate casinos. I think they're like, if you're not into the casino, it's just an annoyingly loud, bright place with no clocks and just like nothing to do. You're just kind of walking around. Yeah. Like the machines don't do it for me. Even to the point where I was like, I'm not even going to give this place a fucking dollar. I'm not even going to try to win the fucking, whatever. Like fuck them,
It's a weird vice.
So yeah.
I don't get it either.
Say it again?
It's a weird vice.
Yeah, it's not. It is a weird vice. I mean, but like I get the rush. Like you could, if you win, you're up, and that's fun. It's fun to chase that dragon. I used to play poker with my friends, and I kind of got it from that. But like sitting in a casino just seems so like, ooh, like you're not even with your homies. You're just like doing this activity by yourself.
Yeah.
And then there's like the guy. This is the first time I'd ever seen. What's the craps? Is that the dice game?
Yeah.
Where you throw dice at the long table? Yes. I'd never seen that in person. I'd never seen a craps table, I don't think. And so, dude, that's like the weird, where it's like kind of social, where there's like people there. And just seeing like the guy, he was there with his like girlfriend and just like, I mean, I don't know. It's like sometimes you see people, you're like, are you real, man? Like you're just, he's got the shirt with the blazer and the fucking gold chain and the gold watch and his like plasticky blonde girlfriend who's just there for like arm candy. Like she's not saying shit. And like, the craps, whatever. I don't even know how the game works, but he threw it and he didn't win. He's like, oh, fuck. I should have bet the ace or I should have, he's like yelling, like trying to like kind of be jokey, but also clearly pissed that he lost some money. And like the fucking craps dealer's like flirting with this girlfriend. He's like this old man. He's like, oh, you can rub my head for good luck. And she's like, yeah,
God.
sounds cool. And he's just like, you know, horned up for this. I mean, because there's no women there except this girl. Like, it's just a bunch of fat smoking dudes, really, or like fat smoking women. Like, she was the only like piece of eye candy there. And he was just like, yeah, rub my head for some good luck. And yeah, she didn't, and her boyfriend lost. So maybe she should have fucking rubbed that dude's head. I don't know.
Oh God.
But yeah, man, it's just a weird environment. It's just a very strange place, Reno. And then I just drove out into the middle of the night and then slept in one of the coldest nights in the van. Like, I was freezing my fucking dick off because the heat blew. There's no heat in the van anymore. And I was just in a gas station just seeing my breath while I was even driving the car. So then when the car shuts off, it's just like there's not even any ambient heat from the engine like leaking in. It's just an ice box. And it was, whew, bro. Yeah, I was just like, there has to be something good coming at the end of this road. There just has to be. This comedy journey has to pay off in some way, or else I'm just sleeping in a refrigerator in the middle of nowhere, you know? Like, you just have to, like, you're like telling yourself, like, all right, you're doing this to get better. You're doing this, you know, you have to kind of pump yourself up, or else you're just like, fuck, man, what am I doing out here? But now the road is over. So no more little weird Reno adventures. Now just New York stuff. Yeah, man, it's crazy. It was a good journey. I had a very fun few months. I met a lot of comics. I did a lot of fun stuff. It's just that some of the nights you're like, oh, I wish I'd planned this differently. I wish I was not doing this tonight. But
yeah.
Overall, I had many more good nights than bad nights, and that's pretty much all you can ask from a tour, I guess, you know. We have should we do the bit? You want to do the bit?
Oh yeah. Let's do it.
Okay. So I posted a bit that I actually had done during the Nick Mullen weekend, but I was so ashamed of it. I'm always so ashamed of any comedy I ever do that when I get the tapes back, I like physically can't watch them for a while. Like, it's just very hard for me.
Yeah,
And
I can see that.
I just didn't want to deal with that. I kept putting it off, and I was finally like, dude, like, you got all this material. This is the name of the game. You got to put fucking clips out. So I was like, all right. So I do this joke about, and we're going to play you the bit, so I don't need to do the whole rundown, but about just an observation of how people talk about the homeless issue in Portland. And most of you listeners, I imagine, have probably already seen it. It's been up on my Instagram and pretty much all my social media accounts. But we figured, because I got a fair amount of, I don't even want to say a fair amount, but I got more than a few negative comments. And I just thought it would be fun on the pod to address the critiques. You know, what type of artist are you if you can't look at some of your haters and just see, do they have a point, or are they just jackasses? So we're going to play you the bit right now. We're going to play the whole bit. It's just like 55 seconds. Just so you have the full context of it. It's also, like I said, it's on my Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. So here's the bit, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the comments. So here you go. This town is full of shit in how we talk about the homeless issue, because we're all different publicly versus privately. Publicly, you talk to anybody in a group of peers, like, oh my God, these houseless angels, they're the best thing that ever happened to us. Let's get more of them in here. Come on. I love urban camping. This is the shit. And then you talk to somebody one-on-one, you're like, all right, just be real with me. Like, what do you think of the homeless shit? And they're just like, we got to burn the camps, dude. I'm done. My car got broken into 4 times during this sentence, dude. I'm done. You guys saw where you parked. You're all nervous right now. You're like, let's get this show over with, dude. I'm losing $1,000 at this show right now because every one of my windows got punched out for change. Oh, shit, I left 17 cents in a cup holder. I'm doomed. All right, so that's the bit. Love it, hate it, is what it is. Something I put out. Got like didn't get much initially on Instagram. It got like just a few thousand, so I didn't really think much of it, but it did pretty well on TikTok. As of this recording, it has 128,000 views on TikTok.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's where the most it did pick up today. It's picked up in the last week. It has 24,000 views on Instagram. So I'll just first say.
So let me just point out something real quick. It's not you are critiquing what other people say. That's what you're doing.
Yes.
Right?
The bit is literally
you're making
me
fun
going,
of the
this is how people talk.
Right.
The dichotomy between a public facing persona who wants to clearly seem like they're very, yes, I'll do anything for homeless people, and then when you actually talk to them, you get their real feelings. So it's an observation of people in Portland. It has nothing to do, the joke is nothing to do with homeless people. It is not me saying what we should or shouldn't do about the homeless issue in Portland. It's not, it's not that. So obviously people are morons. They don't either listen to the joke, they hear keywords, they hear the end of the joke, and they're just like, oh. So first I want to say, let's start with the positive. A lot of people liked the joke. Positive comments. So most people, as is most things on the internet, if you post something and it's good, or if people think, you stand behind it, which I do. I have no apologies about this joke. There's nothing I find in this joke that is offensive. But most people enjoyed it. So a lot of positive comments, whatever. But obviously, you get some negative ones. You get some haters. And that's kind of fun to see once in a while. It's also like I'm not huge on social media. I'm trying to get better about posting more stuff, so I haven't had a lot of clips get a ton of views. And even if I do, this is probably the most quote unquote controversial joke I've posted. So the comments on my other bits are just like smiley faces or laughing faces, or it's a lot of the stuff is crowd work too. So it isn't like a bit for somebody to like chew on. It's just like, oh, look at this interaction with this person. So this bit is obviously about a pretty inflamed issue in Portland and across the country, but clearly in Portland and West Coast cities, San Francisco, LA. So people have opinions on it. So first of all, I'm clearly making roads with some of the right-wing communities I have not been able to make. I'm building up my right-wing audience because half of them are probably liking it just because it seems like a fuck you. So they're also, in a way, taking the joke in a way that I didn't necessarily intend, but whatever, And it also shows you that these fucking things, the success is simply based on people arguing. So it's not healthy for the society. Like when I started to watch it, I was just like, oh, this isn't good. Like it's not good that people are screaming at each other in the comments. Like I just want you to laugh or not laugh. I'm not here to be like your sounding board for your political ideology, but people are getting in 20 comment threads about policy debate on a fucking Instagram, like in a comment section on TikTok. So first of all, it's like weird because you need comments for the thing to get bigger, yet the comments themselves are like, in a meta way, horrible for society and not something I support. But selfishly, you want them to keep fighting. Like it's this weird thing of like, you need them. The argument fuels the bit, therefore you get more followers, you get more likes, you get all the shit that you supposedly need to be a successful comedian. But as a citizen of the world, this is not good, and it's fucking pathetic to watch, So that is like the overall thing. I was like, ugh, this is kind of gross because I don't even respond to anything. Like I'm not going to, good or bad, the most I'll do is just if someone goes, oh, that was funny, I'll just like it. But I'll never say anything on it because it's not worth, what would be my benefit of saying anything? It's just, fuck it, that's you guys.
who are these people that have time to go back and forth? Like, I have trouble responding to text messages that I get, just getting to everything, and like people are doing that and commenting, I think
they live online and they love to, and I think this is like, it's almost like gambling. It's like a vice for them. Their vice is like mixing it up in the comment section. Like, I won this argument. I got a point on this guy in the comment. And it's like, first of all, that's a weird mentality. If like a big thing for you is trying to own somebody in a comment section on a joke on TikTok. I mean, the layers I just had to fucking get to through that sentence. You're getting an argument in a comment section on a joke on TikTok that's a pathetic stairway that you just led yourself into, you know? Especially when it's about an issue that's nuanced and complicated and has many facets to it and is never going to be solved. Like I truly think these people think they are going to somehow solve the issue in the comments, as if the comment section is almost like a government policy onto itself. Like, oh, if I just comment enough, then the homeless issue will go away, or I have done my part to solve the issue. What could I do? I commented. You know, it's like this weird attitude of like, that's their form of like activism almost. Yeah. It's like, well, I've been fighting on the front lines of the comment wars. You know, it's like I truly think there is these types of people who are mixing it up. That is like a part of their identity. Is like, I don't let a wrong go unnoticed on the internet. You know, like that's not who I am. And I think that's just a subsect of people. Is like that's them. You know,
it's a way of feeling like you're doing something without actually doing anything, and it's a way to get that affirmation by just talking. Like, it kind of reminds me of, some people say that like, if you say that you're going to do something, if you're going to do something really hard, so say, you know, quitting smoking, don't tell anyone that you're trying, because when you tell them, you get the same affirmation back that you would get if you actually did it. So it kind of it's a stand-in for actually doing it, and then it's less likely to happen. Yes. So it's just, well, you know, they drive past the tents every day just like everyone else, but they can think, well, no, I took that comic to task on TikTok instead of actually doing something.
Exactly. Yeah. And like, again, like I would love to talk to these people. I would love to talk to them because a lot of these comments would have never been said to my face. So there's that.
Yeah.
And like, you know, I'll be real. The fucking lizard brain, the fucking angry brain, when you read some of this shit, it takes over and you're like, you get bad thoughts. I had some real bad, illegal, violent thoughts, because you'll just be like, oh, I want to fuck you up so badly. You just like think of like the worst ways you would hurt a person, because you're just like, because you read it and it feels like they're basically like telling you to like go fuck yourself, like to your face. You're just like,
right.
They're telling you like you're a bad person, and then you almost want to be like, all right, if I'm a bad person, this is what a bad person would do. I would hurt you, you know. But that is your little fucking lizard brain overreacting, and so you just have to be like, you know what? This isn't real. They've never met me. They don't know who I am, and I don't know who they are. And honestly, I bet you if I talk to some of these people, we would come away with some type of understanding. They might not agree with me, but they would at least see you as a whole person. Because right now they just see 55 seconds video, and then they're like, this person is X. This is what they are. So anyways, that's, you know, and everybody's... So here's some comments. Some of them are also funny. Like one just said, "I hope you end up homeless soon." Multiple exclamation points.
I am homeless.
The lovey face, and it's like, motherfucker, I am reading this while freezing in my van. I am so cold right now, and I mean the idea that like, yes, I'm not tent city street homeless, but. Fuck, bro. Am I really doing that well? Is anybody looking at me? If they could cut in, I mean, if they could cut in just a 10-second video of me shivering to myself in the van, being like, oh yeah, I hope you end up homeless soon. Like it would be such a funny juxtaposition. Just like I'm literally like close to hypothermia out here. I'm fucking freezing my balls off, and you're just like, yeah. And you're typing this most likely from your home, which is so funny. But
do they think you're like Dan Blazarian?
I know. Like, where do you think comics are doing? Like, how do you think comics are doing in their lives? Like, do you think we're all just like rich? I don't know. Again, like you don't know like what these people know about comedy. Like, do you know like how hard it is to make real money doing this? Like, and maybe they just are like clueless, and again, they're being angry. But that one honestly made me laugh. That one didn't make me mad because it was just so funny. Like, I actually posted that one on Instagram because I laughed out loud when I read it because it's so over the top. You're just like, all right, dude, whatever. One guy said, LOL, deserved. So obviously you can't see it, but if you watch the clip at the end, here's the other part of the joke that is only represented visually is I got at least one, but I think I got a couple DMs. So this happened. I told this joke over the Nick Mullen weekend. So I was at Portland Helium Comedy Club Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Somebody DM'd me after the show, after I told that joke, with a picture of their broken window. So their window had literally been broken during the set in which I said, one of you will lose a window tonight. In the joke, the quote is, one of you guys is going to get your windows busted out. And the guy messaged me, he goes, damn, dude, you fucking manifested that shit. And I post that picture in his message under on the video. So it's like, if you're even mad at this joke, it literally is happening. The thing I am saying is going to happen in the joke happened that fucking night. So you disagreeing and being mad about the joke is like, I'm giving you direct proof that it fucking happened. So a couple people, though, thought that was my window for some reason. I don't know why I would have said manifest. I don't know. Like, it's clearly a message from somebody on Instagram, but some people thought it was mine. And so one guy said, LOL, deserve the busted window for the joke. So he's saying that you deserve to get your window broken out for saying this joke, which is I think a classic thing on the left where it's like, because words equal violence, then actual violence should be done to you. You know, it's like that.
Right.
Words are violence. Therefore, me, like if you say a joke I don't like, me punching you in the face is like an equal retribution, or me breaking your window is somehow equal for a joke. So that's like a whole philosophy that I ran into in Portland about a number of people, which I never understood. Like, you said something I don't like, so therefore I get to hit you in the face, or I get to break your window, or you deserve your window being broken, or whatever.
Insanity.
And then the other thing that bothered me about this one specifically, and I'm not going to tell anybody these handles. If you really want to do investigative work and see who these people are, it's all public, and they decided to comment. But I'm not going to tell their handles because it's more about the idea than the person.
Sure.
This is this person represents a lot of people who think like this. So whatever.
Totally.
But this guy, I looked at his profile, and he is like a struggling artist. He's like he plays music. And I'm like, dude, like, for some reason it bothers me more when another artist says some shit like that, because I'm like, bro, like, we're in the same game here, dude. Like, we're both trying to make money doing a very hard thing. The idea that you'd be like, yeah, fuck you for this joke. I don't know. It just, like, to me, I'm like, so what if I had a song I disagreed with? I would be like, you deserve your fucking guitar smack. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. But so that one did bother me because I was like, dude, really? Like, you're going to be, you're in the same struggle and you're like doing this shit. Like, this is so clownish of you, you know? Let's see what else. One guy kind of like, so yeah, I posted on Twitter, he retweeted it, and he did that sarcastic thing, like, I can't remember what he said. It was like, oh yeah, like, yeah, this is right, this guy's just speaking truth, you know, but he was doing it in a sarcastic way. Like, yeah, the homeless people deserve all the hate. I'm like, all right. And then he commented, he goes, it's lazy down punching bullshit that isn't surprising when you look at his now he goes into other things I've done, which is like, this is next level hating. He goes, it's not surprising when you look at his quote big documentary he posted to YouTube with no views. Guys got to find a hustle, right? And I'm just like, bro, like, now you're mad. You're going from a joke that you don't like to be like, yeah, and fuck everything he's done. And of course he didn't watch the doc. I'm sure if he watched it, he would be like, oh, like, whatever. I don't think he would have that opinion if he watched it, but if he clearly didn't watch it. And also it's like, so now it's just views. Now it's like, if it was big, it would be okay. Like I never liked that popularity shit. It's like, oh, so if it had more views, you would be okay with me saying that? Like, no, you wouldn't like me saying this if I was Joe Rogan or me. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, the scalability has nothing to do with it. You are just mad at the joke. And so and again, I think this guy is like, thinks that I make money off these. Like, that's the thing. Like, what hustle am I doing? I'm posting a joke for free on the internet for public consumption. There's no money. I'm making no money. In fact, I'm losing money because I had to pay to get the tape. I had to pay for the tape. So it costs like $20 to make this tape. Just for, I pay an editor to clip it, to subtitle it, to center, all this shit that I can't do. So I lost $20 to get shit on by some fucking guy. And of course, this motherfucker, no profile picture, so it's like, so it's it's just this like abject cowardice to be like, so I can't go at you because I don't even know who you are. I've never met you, and you don't even have a fucking picture for me to look at, whatever.
And he's talking about being lazy. He's calling you lazy, but meanwhile, he's making a value judgment on your documentary by how many other people watched it.
Also, it's like lazy. It's like, have you ever spent a month on the road making a full-length documentary? Like, what? Like, these people, too, that really bothers me is like, what have you done to add to the world? Like, are you making shit? Are you creating shit? Are you out there, like, making it, like, any type of art? Like, I don't think so. I think what you do is you have a dumb little life that you're mad about, that you're upset that maybe it didn't go the way you wanted, or you're not doing actually what you want. And so you're like, you know what? Fuck this. And again, this has nothing even really to do with if you find the joke funny. If you just don't find the joke funny, that is fine. But all these comments are like, because you said this joke, you're this type of person. You're a bad person. And that is what pisses me off. If you don't find the joke funny, like, fuck it, whatever. I can't do anything about that, and it's not my job to fucking... Like, I can't change your sense of humor. I can't change that. But if you're going at me as if, like, you're some type of fascist who, like, hates homeless people or whatever all these people are saying, it's like, well, dude, like, this is, like, poison. Like, this is why the world sucks, is because people like you are just like, you said this, which means you're like this, which means I can't like you, which means you deserve all of this hate to, you deserve your windows being punched out. And it's like, and here's what I want to say, like, very... very clearly. These people who think that either there's a few options. Either they've never had a window broken in their car in Portland. They don't somehow know anybody who's had their window broken or a catalytic converter stolen, or their property damaged, or they haven't had a business. And I know these sound like very Republican talking points, but I actually think this is a very working class talking point. I had a friend who hosted a weekend at Helium, and at Helium, I just want to, let's just be real with what comics make. At Helium Comedy Club, you make $50 a set to host a show. You are there, a show is about an hour and a half, and if it's a Friday night, you have to wait about an hour between shows. So you're there for about 5 hours to make $100, let's say, okay? You are not making a ton of money. You make $250 then for the weekend. If you do 5 shows at $50 a show, you're making $250 a weekend. My friend hosted 5 shows. At the end of the night, the last show, she came out to her car, parked at Helium, back window smashed out. That car window cost $400 to replace. So she lost $150 working that weekend. And these people who talk so freely about you deserve your shit or it's not an issue, it's like, so you just don't know what that feels like, because a lot of my homies do not have $400 to fucking lose. Like, I don't know what position in society you're coming from. I'm not saying I'm fucking homeless. I'm not saying I'm a fucking drug addict, but I am saying that it's not just homeless people who are affected by this. The idea that any person who works for a living can just burn $400 and then to be met with this idea of, well, it's not a big deal, is like, talk about fucking privilege. These people are obsessed with privilege. What type of privilege is it? What the fuck are you talking about? What privilege do you have to just be like, yeah, well, it's just your fault, or we have to just look the other way? It's like, motherfucker, a catalytic converter costs like $500 to replace. I mean, the idea that these people just have money to burn like this, or it's not a big deal, and we just have to understand their plight. It's like, yeah, no one, like, the idea that you can't say it really sucks and I really can't afford to lose a window to homeless people, some guy on fucking super meth, and also can't be compassionate about, oh yeah, I don't want people sleeping on the streets, is like, this is that child brain that you deal with on the internet. This is the type of people who are not serious about issues because they have no nuance to their thinking. They have zero ability to be like, I can understand why both points could live in the same brain. I don't want people sleeping on the street. I also don't want my windows smashed. Somehow those two ideas cannot live together in their brain, so they have to go one or the other. And either it's, oh my God, you're a fascist because you want this. You don't want people camping in the streets. You don't want people yelling at you. You don't want I've talked about all this shit before. Like, it's almost like ad nauseum how many times I fucking said like the same thing over and over again. But it's just blows my mind that somebody could see that and be like, the only problem here is that you're bringing it up. That's what's hilarious to me. The only problem of this joke in this video, even though you're showing a guy who got his window broken, is that you're bringing up what is a clear reality to thousands of people in this city. Thousands of people who are probably Democratic voters. It's not just these fucking right-wing nut jobs. It's people who are literally working-class citizens of a fucking town that they're also being priced out of, where rent is also going up for them, and that they don't have $500 sitting around every other week to get their shit smashed in. And to not have any sympathy or empathy for people like that is such a clown shoes fucking way to look at the world that, like, reading these comments, I was just like, man, this is blowing my mind that you guys are not understanding this. Like, that this is how weird reality has become, is like, it's pretty clear that I'm outlining a very real thing that people are experiencing. They're not just seeing, they're literally victims of it. And on the Instagram post, a former manager of Helium goes, yeah, never park south of Hawthorne. She worked there for fucking 5 years. She understands it. Three fucking people commented, I just was at Helium. I got my window broken out. I'm worried about going back. So the idea that this isn't like, this is like me making up a scenario that's just intended to shit on homeless people is so far from the fucking truth that you actually have workers there. Ask any person at Helium, any fucking worker. If you're so fucking worried about workers, ask any worker, do they fucking fear that their shit on their shift is going to get broken? They'll all tell you yes. I know every person who works at the club, and I've known every person who worked at the club for the last fucking 7 years. I understand what the fuck I'm talking about. And you got these little fucking keyboard warriors who are out here just pretending that this doesn't exist for anybody. And then you fucking wonder why people, this is a real thing too. Why the city council in Portland is about to go more conservative because they're tired of that Joanne Hardesty because she represents fucking these types of issues. The fucking governor of Oregon might be a Republican for the first time in 30 years because people are So it's like, you guys can run your mouth about how it's not real. Well, in 6 days, you're about to find out if people have decided to vote on a different path, because all you have been telling them is, hey, we can't comment on this. It's actually racist, or what? Not racist. It's actually some ists to say it's bad if you ever mention a critique about the homeless issue. The only thing we can do about the homeless issue is let them camp everywhere, look the other way when they yell at people, look the other way when they're doing drugs, and if you ever say anything, you're a fascist. That's what this whole thing has come to. And this is just a little fucking microcosm of these types of people who sit there, act like they fucking solved something by commenting, add nothing real to the conversation, and then have zero sympathy for people losing thousands of dollars every week. Who, I mean, dude, people use their cars to get to work. So now you're going Now what? You're taking an Uber, so you lost more money. You're taking the bus, what, you lose more time. Like this idea that this is just some fucking rich person issue that you can just deal with your property being damaged. If someone broke my window while I was living in my van, dude, everything I own would have been up for grabs. Like I just don't like if someone had broke out my window, they would have stolen my laptop. They would have been stolen all this podcast equipment when I was in Portland this last week. Like I would have been totally fucked. And that would have just been, and if I'd said anything, it's like these people would be like, well, I don't, that's just the way it is. And we really need to make sure that we're not marginalizing their voices. It's like, it has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with, yo, dude, we're all people here. No matter where you are on this fucking spectrum, me and any broke comic cannot afford to lose that much money. It's simply not a thing that we can just cut a check and burn money. It just doesn't work that way for us. It doesn't work that way for most people.
It's kind of almost a moot point of how much money you have. It's either okay to steal or it isn't.
Right. We all have this extra like bank account where people are paying for their broken windows and they're paying for the sins of this fucking this lifestyle that like, oh, well, it just is. It's almost like it's almost seen as like a cost of living in these cities now. It's like, look, if you want to live here, you have to just go up. You have to be okay with these things. But then if you say, I don't want to be okay, then somehow you're not part of this city. Like, oh, this is just these like business owners. I see that all the time. It's like, yeah, you fucking like business owners. And again, it's like, dude, read some of the accounts of fucking some of these small businesses who get their fucking windows smashed in every week. They'll tell you with their own words, yeah, dude, you guys think that we're just all covered by insurance. Sometimes insurance doesn't cover all these windows. Sometimes we don't have enough insurance to fucing pay for it. The idea, again, it's just this like, well, fuck them. They're bougie. It doesn't matter. They have infinite money. It's like, bro, this isn't, not every place is Walmart or Starbucks. Some of these people, it's their only shop. It's their only food cart. They're paying out of their pocket to get their graffiti removed. They're paying out of pocket to get the windows replaced. I just... Again, man, this reality that people are living in, it's a fucking bubble. It's a fucking bubble of what they think the world is to what it actually is. And I don't have all the fucking answers, but I'm pretty sure on this point I have a fucking few insights. And it just fucking puts me in a fucking rage reading some of this fucking entitled bullshit. Some of them are funny because they're over the top, but some of them is just that guy, oh, it's punching down, it's this, that, the other. And this fucking guy, this one guy, this is the one I'll close on because this guy, he said one comment to me. I'm wearing a sweatshirt in the thing that's of a local media studio that I've worked out of. I've edited a lot of my videos there. Like, it is what it is. I know this guy. I've done comedy shows there.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, like, I wonder if, and I'm not going to mention the guy's name. I mean, if you want to fucking read it. Oh, I wonder if so-and-so knows that you're wearing his merch, basically, and you're saying this divisive fear-mongering. Like, he's basically saying, like, this guy is, like, guilt by association, like, you're wearing his sweatshirt, which means like you're putting his name down by saying it. Whatever.
It's completely it's like completely disconnected from reality. It's like somebody in a manic episode, like, oh, well, the clock said 3, so there's going to be 3 crows coming in the yard, and then that means there's going to...
They're out of their minds, dude. They're out of their fucking minds. But this guy... So he said that about me, and then he just started... Then he got into like a 20-thread argument with another guy. So now he wasn't even directing it at me. He was just, they're literally arguing about policy again in a TikTok comment thread, and they're going back at each, and now they're starting to call each other names. It's literally escalating. I'm watching them. I'm like watching these comments come in. I'm like, these fucking morons. One of them, the guy who was, I guess, quote unquote, taking my side, or at least being like, not even my side, but just like, hey, like, this homeless issue is like, you can't just keep throwing money at it. Or, well, I don't even know what he's saying, but he has no profile picture. He's just a fucking gray screen. And then the other guy who said this thing about my sweatshirt, he has no videos, but I looked at it and it's a picture of him and his kid. It looks like he's like a father. He looks like he's like a father in his 40s. So I'm like, all right, dude, let me get this straight. You found this joke. You made a kind of a sneery, shitty little comment about it. Now you're getting in these comments happened over a few days. Like, he was returning to this thread to make his next points on that argument he got in. And all the time, I'm like, have this image of this guy not paying attention to his own son because he has to get to be a fucking asshole online and be right about something that you can almost guarantee that all these people who say this donate no money to any type of charity, almost for sure never volunteer at any type of homeless thing, never, they're, again, like, so it's like their activism is the comments. Just by the numbers of volunteers that any of these organizations get, 99% of these people probably actually add nothing of their own life to that cause except getting in arguments. So I'm just thinking of, like, this guy he has this young, and the picture is like a young kid. It's not like a me and my dad. Like, it's like this kid is he's like 5 or 6, it looks like. And I just kept thinking of this guy on his phone as his young son is like next to him. And it's like, that's your life, dude? Your life is getting in an online argument with strangers and being shitty to a comic you never met, instead of just like, wait, what am I doing? Like, why am I never having that moment of clarity, be like, yeah, why am I doing this? Well, I'm going to go fucking play catch with my kid. I'm going to go fucking take my kid to Chuck E. Cheese. I'm not going to fucking sit here and fucking yell at a fucking no-faced man on the internet. It could be a fucking Chinese guy stirring up fucking, you have no idea. Like, you have no idea. It could be a fucking Russian guy who's getting paid to start arguments about these exact issues. You have no idea what you're doing. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your only life to do this instead of fucking, just mind blown, dude. So, I got fucking heated talking about this shit, dude. I'm not even following my own advice. I'm getting heated thinking about these fucking assholes. But I stand by what I say. So, and I'm sure, these comments will get, they'll keep coming. So it is what it is. But, if you're one of these people, put the phone down, take a long look in the mirror, go for a nice walk out in nature, breathe some fresh air, drink a couple glasses. Like, just step away for a little bit, because I'm telling you, it's not worth it.
And if you really want to think about it, just think, is robbing okay?
Yeah.
And answer that question. Just look deep inside and say, is it okay to rob people? And if you can really answer yes, then keep going, sure. But I just can't.
If you can really answer yes, you should start a fund where every time a guy's window gets broken, pay for it. That's the only place that you can put your money where your mouth is. If you truly believe that this is an issue that just can be looked the other way on and it's okay and people just got to deal with this, set up a fucking fund, and anytime someone will send you a picture and go, hey, man, I was at work the other night. I'm a bartender. I got off at 2:30 in the morning. I came back and my window was broken, and it's $400. And since you believe that this is just okay to happen, then please just pay for it if you think it's okay. Because if not, then I guess what you should do is absolutely shut the fuck up. You should absolutely shut your fucking mouth on this, because you are not talking to anybody in a real way. Because at the end of the day, it's about fucking money, and it's about people not wanting to fucking spend money that they already don't have. Most people, not most people in the city maybe, but a lot of people I know are living paycheck to paycheck. They are not living in a way that they can do this. And when you see it fuck over your friends that way, you don't have the same fucking glossy-eyed sympathy that these fucking people have. You just don't. Look at a person next time. Next time you see someone, that glass shattered all over the fucking sidewalk, because you see it in every fucking block downtown and in some of the fucking neighborhoods, and you see all that fucking car glass, just look at that and go, would I be okay putting $400 cash down right now and walking away? Because that's what it is. If you really think that, next time you see one of those windows, go to an ATM and put four $100 bills down in that pile of broken glass, and just walk away from it, and then just see how you feel. And see how you feel if you had to do that 3 times in a month, or 3 times even in a year. See if you feel okay burning $1,200, because I know people that's happened to it multiple times, where they're working paycheck to paycheck. They gotten their laptop stolen out of it. They've gotten valuable shit that they can't get back stolen. Do that. Why don't I come steal that 5-year-old's bike and then you tell me how cool it is to fucking do that? Why don't I go to your son's house and let me steal his fucking bike and then tell your son, look, this is okay. It's okay that your bike is stolen and unfortunately you don't have a bike anymore. Just do that.
The subjectivity is the issue. It's like, oh, well, he has more, so he can afford to get the window fixed. Well, okay, well, he has more. Why don't they just steal the whole car then? He can get a new car. Oh, he has more. They can just steal everything in their house. Like when we start, right. when we move away from objective binary, this is right, this is wrong, and everything is this subjective sort of judgment about who has what and who doesn't have what, and that makes this okay in this case, but this not okay. That's when we just completely lose any semblance of like order in a society that actually is functioning in a way that is productive and makes people feel safe. So it's just either is stealing, is taking something that doesn't belong to you okay, or is it not? That's the question. That's it.
Powerful words. I can see your inner libertarian getting extremely inflamed right now. This is Red Country Jack coming out. You can tell he's like, I've been waiting for this, baby. And you're right, though. It is true.
Let me be clear. Like, my issue is not with homelessness. I don't think it should be illegal to camp on the side of this highway or to just. You shouldn't have to pay to exist in the world as a organic, carbon-based being. Like, you should just be able to.
Jack coming out.
You should just be able to sleep. Like, the issue is with stealing and making life more difficult for other people and littering all over the fucking place and causing disturbances and menacing people. Like, that's the issue. Being homeless, I don't think should be a crime. I think it's you shouldn't have to pay. You should be able to sleep legally in a public space. But it's when you're diminishing the quality of life for everyone else in the city, that's the problem.
Yeah. And these people who are somehow like just, again, turn a blind eye and pretend everything okay are children. And I don't understand why we listen to them ever. Like, if you said these comments in like a public meeting, like a town hall, like people should laugh you out. Like, so your solution is just don't do anything, and if anything ever bad happens to anybody, then it's just an unfortunate thing. Like, this is not a solution. You're pretending to have a solution isn't a solution. You have nothing to offer to the conversation except, hey, don't point this obviously true thing out. That's what these people are all saying in one way or another. Hey, I know it's clearly true to everybody who's lived here for 2 months, but please, you're being mean and quote unquote punching down. By the way, this is, I mean. That's almost like a dog whistle for, oh, this is a joke that is getting laughs, but I don't agree with. Almost 100%. Once in a blue moon, you'll see a fucking joke that isn't a joke because no one is laughing, and it's just some bullshit speech. In Reno, some fucking guy got up on the open mic and did his little fucking, oh, the vaccine was bullshit. Not a single laugh, whatever. That's not comedy. But if a joke is making a room full of people laugh and you don't like it, you almost always see this, well, that's just punching down. It's like, well, why did this room full of people laugh then? There must have been something funny about it for them to laugh. But that whole thing, that's just always used as this like last-ditch effort to be like, well, actually, it's punching down. It's like, well, actually, I think I'm defending people who don't want to lose money, so I feel like it's not punching. You know, like, you can always fucking spin it in your own way. But anyways, I'm going to go fucking walk around the block after this shit, dude. I got all fucking heated. In my own goddamn house. So, guys, thanks so much for listening to the podcast. As always, please give us a 5-star rating, rate, review, subscribe. Just type in a few words on that Apple review thing. It does help. We appreciate the ones that have come in over the last few weeks. Some very friendly words. So thank you so much. And again, if you think I'm being an asshole, and if you think I'm, after all this explanation of my ideas, feel free to write in. Feel free to fucking send me a DM and go, well, here's the points. And I'll read them. I'll fucking read them and I'll talk about them the next week. If you got like a real argument here, do it. This bullshit that we talked about today is not an argument. It's nothing. It's just trying to be an asshole and not say anything. But if you got some fucking words, I'm an open book. Fucking hit me up. And maybe, who knows? Maybe you change my mind. Today is Friday. What's today? Friday, November 4th. So if you're listening to this and you know people are in Minneapolis, Friday and Saturday, I'm headlining the Comedy Corner Underground in Minneapolis. So come out to that. Sounds like tickets are moving pretty quick. We're hopefully going to sell both of those nights out. But if you got people in the Midwest, send them there. Friday and Saturday, one show each night. And then after that, I am flying back to New York City, and I am a New York comic, no van. So just check my Instagram for updates on dates, shows that I'm on, popping on. Yeah, it's getting a lot simpler all of a sudden. It's just one city, so you know where to find me. And yeah, thanks so much. Jack, you have any last words? You got anything to say?
That's it for me. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for the reviews.
All right. Yeah, thank you, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.